Hi, everybody. I'm Jody Pear.
Hi, I'm Kathy Feltz.
And today I want to talk to you about the Sheri and Nancy Show. I have told Kathy about this show a few times. It's a podcast. And that is the name of it, the Sheri and Nancy Show. And sadly, it is, they're no longer recording, but it is Sheri Salata. She was executive producer for the Oprah Winfrey Show. And Nancy Holla is Sheri's best friend. And so they are in their 50s and they decided that they are not slowing down, that they are just resetting their life. And it's just time to start ramping things up instead of going into retirement mode and slowing down. So they created this podcast and it was so good. I think they recorded for 3 years, I think. I followed it all the way through and I'm hoping it comes back, but I don't know. But one of the episodes that was recorded, it was recorded on April 21st, 2020, and they had Julie Morganstern come on the show. Ah, look at you. See? When I told Kathy I heard this, she's like, yes, I know who this is. And you've studied her, right? That was part of your
Yes.
training.
Yes.
So she is new to me, and I absolutely loved what she said. So I just want to read, I wrote down, I quoted her in my notes here, and I just want to share this with you, how she explains the difference between organizing and decluttering. And it is so good, unlike anything I've heard before. So she says organizing is the process of designing systems that make us more efficient exactly where we are. And she said, if you know what you want, but you don't know how to get there, then you need to organize because it makes you more efficient. You can become a more efficient cook. You can get dressed more efficiently. You create systems. And then she describes decluttering as identifying and releasing what is obsolete in your life. It is a catalyst to moving forward to a new place. And I just, the first time I heard this, I was driving, I was commuting every day for, 45 to 90 minutes. And so this is when I really was listening to podcasts. And I remember just being so in awe of what she said. And somehow I just recently started thinking about this again. Oh, I know, because you and I were talking about energy in the home and of course, decluttering and organizing. And somehow it sparked my memory. And then you are like, of course, Julie Morganstern. I know who this is. So what more do you know about her? I mean, so if anybody wants to listen to that one session, I will have that podcast episode. I will have that in the notes. But tell us what you know, Kathy. It is fascinating.
Yeah. And her book, I mean, the book that I showed you, The Organizing from the Inside Out, this is her main book. And then she also has time management from the inside out. But what she's talking about, which is so different than a lot of the other books that you'll read about organizing, she's talking about you first and how you feel and what's going on with you, instead of really what's happening in your space. She's saying that what's happening in your space is directly correlated to what's happening inside you. So internal chaos equals external chaos. When our place is a mess, that's because there's things going on inside of us. So that's one of her main tenets. And you and I, Jody, have talked about that a lot when we're talking about energy, when we're talking about clutter. And I do love the fact, like you said, that she delineates between decluttering, what that is, letting go, and then organizing, which is creating systems. People oftentimes use those interchangeably, and they're really different things. And I always tell my clients that you need to declutter first. Letting go is the first step. so that you can create new systems. Now, when I listened to her podcast, and I'm sure this is something that I've heard her say before, but it just struck me in a new way. She was talking about clutter, and she was talking about the fact that your clutter is not junk.
Right. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's not junk.
Right.
And I will see my clients get so stuck on letting go of their clutter and feeling really bad about hanging on to it. But it's not so easy to let go of because it is not junk. It is, your clutter is something that's an attachment.
Mm-hmm.
You're attached to it or you wouldn't have it. And so releasing is about finding out, what is that attachment about?
Yeah.
Really kind of looking at that. So I really love that about her, that she talks about you first and then your space second,
Mm-hmm.
working on you first and then your space second.
Yeah.
So she has lots of stories and things that she tells. And one of the stories that she told in this podcast was about a raft and this person who was on a journey, and they came to this river that they couldn't cross. So they sat down and they made a raft.
Huh.
And it was the perfect raft. And they got on their raft and they went across the river. Well, this raft was so perfect that they just put it on their back and then they carried that raft the rest of their life.
Oh,
They no longer needed it.
I
So,
remember that now. I remember that.
like,
Yes.
this great story about what happens to us
Yes.
in a way that we can really, you can really picture someone
Mhm.
walking around the rest of their life with a raft on their back that they don't need.
Right.
And even if this person would get to another river that they had to cross, well, then they could stop and they could build another raft because they now know how to build a raft. So it just, clutter is something that is obsolete. We
Mhm.
are attached to it, but it's no longer useful to us.
Yes.
No.
Useful or giving us some kind of joy. I mean, even if you get a spark of joy from it, maybe it's not obsolete, but it's just a different way to look at it. It's like the things you're hanging on to should be joy filled, giving you that emotion, or useful or beautiful in some way.
Mm-hmm. And then she goes on and she talks about when we do release those things that are obsolete for us, that we are making space for new things to come in. And that you can see even when you do something in your house that's small, you can see that you've now made space for something else.
Yes.
So I think that is also a really good thing to remember. And sometimes, so we're letting go of these obsolete things. They could be attached to dreams, what we thought we wanted to do, what we hoped we would do, but we never did. So,
Yes.
okay, that time has passed. So that's okay. So
Yeah.
let those obsolete items go. And now you have space to bring in new things so that you can do something new. She talks about that when you're decluttering, that's not happening in a vacuum. Those
Mhm.
things that are going out, you're releasing them out into the world. And then you're creating that space, and you're creating space for new dreams.
Yes.
You
And
know?
thank you. I'm so glad you just said that, because I'm like, I'm wondering, have we stressed this point before about, because the home is a reflection of where we are in our life. And when we are releasing those things, we are symbolically creating space for new
Mm-hmm.
opportunities, new experiences in our life. And I don't know that we've really made that point before. So that is the underlying message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it can help us to let go if we really know what we want to make space for.
Mm-hmm.
Say we want to, she uses an example, and I'm not going to repeat her example, but she uses an example of wanting to bring love into your life. So if you are, and I've heard this from someone else and I can't remember who. So if you want to bring in a new relationship, you have to set up your space to make room for that new relationship. So there's some like organizing experts that'll tell you, if you want to get a love interest, like who's going to move into your house with you, you need to make space in the closet.
Yes.
You have to literally make space. So it's really very exciting and interesting to think about. And any kind of changes we make energize us.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole process is energizing. So, I think her book is really worthwhile. This podcast is really worthwhile. And it just helps you to think about all of it, the organizing and the decluttering, in a new way.
Yes, you just reminded me about that. I have given this advice to friends of mine
Uh-huh.
where, gosh, it's a female and her name is not coming to me, but I know, oh, anyway, I won't say her name, but she wants a relationship. She wants to be in a relationship. And I got in her car one time and she had to clear the passenger seat to make room for me because all her stuff was all over the place. And I said, you have to make room in your life for this man, for this person that you want. And I also have a male friend who I have told him in his bedroom, like I asked how his bedroom is, because to me, the bedroom is the most important room of the house. And when you're looking to make change, start in the bedroom first, because that's where you're spending the most of your time sleeping. And but I asked him, so what does the vacant side of your bed look like? And is there a nightstand over there? Is there a lamp over there? And he says, yes, but the lamp doesn't work. And I'm like, either change the bulb or get a new lamp.
Yeah.
And then go turn that lamp on and invite this person to come into your life.
Yeah.
So thank you for reminding me about that.
Yeah. Light up that area and invite them in.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd be interested to see if people do watch the podcast, if they do pick up her book or just look her up online to see snippets of what she's about, how they feel about it and what they think. Because I really do think she's really good.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's a nice, how she presents things is really easy to follow and you just get it right away.
Yeah. Yeah, just from this podcast, I believe she only talked for, I don't know, maybe 30 to 45 minutes. And I learned so much. So I can't imagine, diving further into her work. That would be amazing. I just haven't made time to do that yet.
Yeah. And she also it's on the podcast, but she has a whole process she calls the shed process. And so it talks you through all these different steps, and it helps you to have that in place so that you can get rid of things that are obsolete. So
amazing.
I won't give any of that away.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
And it's a little more complex. Yeah. So it's better to read it or listen to it yourself. So.
Well, good. Okay, so again, this was the Sheri and Nancy show that we're talking about. So I will have that in the notes, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful podcast. And hopefully they will be back. But all right, well, thank you, Cathy. And I'm glad that we both have this connection and similar training in our backgrounds, that we never made this connection until this conversation. So just amazing.
Yeah, so funny. Well, thank you so much, Jody. This was fun as always.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.